Hi, everybody. Welcome to Rash's Take. And today we are going to be watching Candace Owens.
Do you want to bring
Because,
it?
what? I'm just adjusting my edge light. There. Because there's ring lights on your computer. So we're going to be talking about Candace Owens. Just watching her, waiting to go live. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do.
Can we see the Candace Owens screen?
Yes, we can
Okay.
see that.
And then how do you get our faces there at the same time?
I'm just doing this.
Wow. Wow. Whoops. Wait, let me get my microphone here. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Let's get into it. That's Coach Colin. Trevor,
She's
thank
not
you for
live for
the.
another 20 minutes.
That's okay. I just wanted to catch you up, Trevor, because I know that you. Hey, Trevor,
Do you
you
like the
haven't
empty chair?
subscribed. You haven't subscribed to Candace Owens yet, and like her video. Gotta get there. We go. Good, good. See, Trevor is has YouTube etiquette, and if it wasn't for Trevor, who this is Trevor, and Trevor lives in Detroit, and you can tell where I live. I'm Emma. I'm a humble
Let's read the chat.
Canadian.
Hello, T-Bird.
Hi, T Bird. How are you? We're waiting for Candace Owens to go live. And I just wanted to review what I think about Candace Owens. And I tried to express this in my live when I was wearing my bathing suit, trimming my toenails. Would anybody like to see my pedicure? No, I don't think anybody wants to see my feet. Okay. Anyhow, what I was trying to get across on the last live is when Candace Owens first started to conduct the Charlie Kirk investigation, it was pretty much from day one when she didn't have any answers and she was waiting to hear what Cash Patel was going to say and waiting to hear what the sheriffs in Utah were going to say. And we must remember that a lot of times, unfortunately, people hide behind Christianity and being a do gooder when they're clearly not, right? So, what I was thinking of is all of the work that Candace has done since Charlie Kirk's assassination. He died September the 10th, which I find so ironic, right before 9/11. And if we add up the days, there are 20 days in September, so that's 20. 30 days in October, that's 51. 82 days in December, and now we're looking at 80. It's like 122 days since Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And in Canada, there's no mainstream media coverage, Trevor. Nothing. And I live in Grimsby, Ontario, Canada. Trevor, have you heard any footage or do you hear anything on mainstream media about Charlie Kirk?
Not really anymore, but I was gonna say, start a different topic about your computer. I think you should have your notifications on. Like when I send you a link, it'll come to the computer and you can just click on it from there.
Oh, because
From
some
your
of
phone, you
my,
get notifications from your phone sent to your Mac.
oh, you know what? Even on my phone, all of my notifications don't come on
What about when I send you a
because
message?
yours come through
So they'll come from my
and
computer too.
T-Birds comes through. T-Bird always comes through, but some people I don't have. I don't know. I have to look at my settings. But just really quick here before, and I'm getting the computer on the 29th because Trevor here from Detroit is so organized that he even wrote the date that I can afford to buy the computer, and it's on the 29th of January. And it's been a year since we've been talking about it, and he did it. And Melody Moon and Trevor and I met on New Year's Eve. If you haven't caught that one, that was the first time I saw Melody Moon in person, Trevor. And I remember the first time I met you in person, you were walking outside, and all I could see was up your nose with a rubber hose. All I could see was your nose. But I just wanted to say really quick about Charlie Kirk. I was really thinking about it. Who do you all think is this was not a one off shot? In my humble opinion, T Bird, what do you think? Because people were saying that Candace Owens was doing this for money only. However, if you've been watching Candace Owens, if she's on episode 1155 or whatever it is, that means that she's gone from the Daily Wire for that many days because her episodes are based on every day that she's on live. And when you look at her views, I've noticed over the last three videos, her views have gone down. So when she was off for 2 weeks, everybody came in like Balix Tones, as Coach Colin would say, Balix Tones. And he even calls Israel Philadelphia. I don't know why. But what I was going to say is everybody online was saying Candace Owens was lying. She wasn't a trustworthy source. And you know what I found so crazy, Trevor? I know you're not interested in the Charlie Kirk thing. However, when she was offline and not talking about it, what other people were talking about made no sense. The video that I did today in showing the Turning Point USA, um, their footage of his funeral looked more like a election cycle. Who benefited from him passing away? And why were people saying that Candace Owens was simply talking about Charlie Kirk because she wants to make money? She's not doing it for money. If anybody thinks she's doing it for money, let's see, T Bird, what do you think? I think there's Trevor, I can't read.
I think there is way more to Charlie's murder than we know about. Something smells fishy.
Yes, absolutely, T Bird, 150%, 110%. And the thing that I love about having and Trevor getting this computer and keeping on top of me like eggs on an eggshell or eggshells on an egg to get my computer is such a good idea because Trevor's going to go out, T Bird. But can I stay on the stream while you're gone and watch Candace Owens? I can?
I can leave the computer on, or
Really?
if you want me to do that.
No way. And I can sit here and watch it. What's that,
Yeah,
T
but
Bird?
I might have to end it. Or you can you end the stream from your
I
phone?
can end it. But I just wanted to say that people who
Should
think
I
that
leave the stream or just put
I
a?
don't think you should. Well, what is T Bird saying? My glasses. I just don't have.
I'm not sure about Erica. Dot dot dot. On here, it's way bigger.
Oh, Erica Kirk. You know what? That's a really good question. T-Bird, you know that I have my muscle memory is very used to waking up in the morning, making coffee, and sitting on the couch the way I used to with Sophie when my leg was bad, right? So now I'm trying to create new muscle memory by getting up in the morning and taking a shower and going to the gym. And I've been finding that really difficult, to be honest. T-Bird. I hang out for a bit. Oh, good. Cool. T Bird says she'll hang out with me for a bit to watch Candace. The
Nice.
Erica Kirk thing I was going to say is she is so fishy, Erica Kirk, because she lied about the way Charlie and her met. Her parents are heavily involved in the military. Why would a Christian woman want to be in a beauty pageant? There was some really rough talk about her Romanian charity. And the specific facts I'll talk about, but I just don't think it's appropriate right now. T Bird, if you understand what I'm saying about um, the transporting, shall we say, that she's been, you know, nose to nose with very wealthy, uber rich, the uber rich. She probably met Jeffrey Epstein. I bet you $50 she met Jeffrey
All right. So,
Epstein.
Lasha, tell me what I should do. Should I turn off, leave the live, and you manage it, or should I keep the computer on?
Well, do you have Candace Owens on right now?
It says 9 minutes left.
Okay, you know what I would do? I would, if you're leaving right now, when are you leaving?
I'll leave when it starts.
Okay. Well, what I was going to say is I want to watch this episode. Um, so can I watch the episode through this live stream?
Only I can control the screen for now because you
Oh,
can't
that
do it on your
won't work
computer.
then. That won't work. Okay. Then you know what
Just
I'm
one.
going to, you know what I'll do? I'll just charge, you know what I'll do, Trevor? Um, I will, and T Bird, what do you think of this? Um, Trevor, when I get back home, what is T Bird saying? She just said something.
I'm just going outside because it's nice today.
No, I know, and it is nice. Okay, so why don't we meet back here in 15 minutes? She's starting at 5:15, right?
By going to the park, I mean I'm going out on my scooter.
Okay.
That can take an hour. So I don't. Should I be here watching the Candace Owens? Because I don't really watch her.
You know what? Why don't you go? Well, okay, it's 5:07. She's starting at 5:15. So if you turn the computer on right now and turn her on,
Let me
it'll
try
start.
shutting my computer.
Okay. Ah! Ah! T-Bird. I
I'm
mean,
right here.
I can put Candace Owens and watch her with my television, but my mom's in my room and she has about as much interest watching Candace Owens as I do. And thank you, by the way, for wishing my mother a merry holiday.
Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Trevor, but we can't see you and we can't see Candace or anything.
Oh, it's because I shut my computer.
Well, we know you need to keep the computer on. This is the
And I should not
question.
have closed it.
Okay, we'll
I'm gonna
open it
leave the
then.
stream and come back.
God. Are you coming back?
Yeah, I think I just screwed it up. Sorry.
It's okay,
Just stay
hon.
on. Don't go anywhere, or else it'll end.
All right, I'm going outside for a marijuana stick. T-Bird, come back. Okay, so we'll be back here at 5:15 then. But what do you think about the Erica Kirk thing? In all honesty, I think something smells really fishy. I mean, I can't smell her from Canada, but what do you think, T-Bird? Do you think that she's a little guilty beyond reproach? Or do you think she kind of is reminding me of Serena Joy from The Handmaid's Tale? Can't lie about it. All right, I'm going outside for a marijuana joint. I'll be back in 15 minutes. T-Bird, what do you think? Okay, we'll be back, Trevor, for the live.
When? When will we be back? What time? Can we come back here
5:15.
at? I won't. I won't be back then. Maybe 6.
Okay,
Will
we
she?
can do it at 6.
How long does she go live for?
An hour.
Should we do what we did back in June and just leave the computer here?
if Candace is playing. T-Bird, what do you think? I think Trevor
I can
should
put up a
leave.
"We'll be right back" picture on the stream, and the stream will still be running.
No, but you need to put a time.
We'll be back at 6. Like We'll be back at 6.
But I'm going out with Paul till 7. Like Paul's picking me up, and then we're going out for a bit just to hang out. We're going for a coffee. I won't be gone long.
Do you want to watch the rerun tonight?
Yeah, that's a good idea. What do you think, T-Bird?
Will you be back here
You
at
don't
what
trust
time?
Candace Owens? You don't, T-Bird.
Lasha, do you
You
promise you'll be ready at 7?
I
So I'm not
promise.
sitting
Why would
in
I?
this chair.
Would I lie to you? Oh no. Would I
A few
lie
times,
to
a few
you,
times.
honey? Not lying. Not lying, just late. Okay, who doesn't trust? You don't trust her, eh? Okay.
I can
That's
leave. We can
cool.
leave this stream and come back. So it's not like YouTube where you can't use it again. We can use this as many times as we want.
All right, so then why don't we come back at 7 and then we can watch Candace and then I can
All right.
interject.
So I'm not gonna leave the stream. I'm just gonna hit good back. All
Okay.
right. I'm gonna put up a. We'll be back at 7 p.m.
Okay, I'm going to leave then, okay?
Your channel will still be live though. We're not gonna end the live.
No, I'm hanging here. Just have to eat my. Yeah. Eat my hub's dinner. Yes, I
We'll
trust
be back at
Candace.
7
Erica
p.m.
Kirk, you don't.
Image.
Okay, T-Bird's hanging too. I'm gonna hang too. Can't you keep the screen open with Candace Owens live? And we can just leave the screen open with Candace Owens live. She's starting in 4 minutes.
Like, we can watch the. But I want to go outside though.
But it'll add to your hours, Trevor. Just put your computer on. Put Candace Owens on. Leave it. She's on for an hour.
All right, and I'll leave the stream.
It's
We'll
gonna be
wait
so
till
much.
she starts. Then
Yay!
then I'll share my screen and we'll leave.
Yay! Yay! It's gonna be so much fun.
What will we do
T-Bird,
when
look
her
at
stream
T-Bird's
ends?
even excited about it. She's gonna watch. Thank you, T-Bird, for watching Candace through us, through Trevor. We need something like T-Bird. We need something like 1,000 watch hours in order to start monetizing. So I said to Trevor, we should ask everybody to keep their
And I
TV
can
on.
I can leave the stream and close my computer. The live will still be going.
That's see,
It
that's
only ends if I
perfect.
hit end. It only ends the stream if I hit end stream, but I'm not ending it.
No, and then I can like react or whatever, and at least I'll know what's going on. So then when we come back to review it, I'll have
I'm
time
gonna
to
hit.
digest
I'm
it.
gonna look it up. Make sure it'll. This is possible.
Okay. Well, it is possible. You're just being
If
difficult.
everybody leaves a stream on restream, but the stream doesn't quote end, can it still be going?
Yes, it'll just keep going. And then we
He
can
said yes,
watch
it
it
can still
through.
be going.
Yeah, I think. I am so curious. I've got to go have a quick thingy
All right.
bobber
So
before she
I'm not
comes
gonna hit.
back.
We'll be right back. I'm gonna put in the chat. We'll be back at 7.
I don't understand what you're saying, Trevor. So
I'm gonna
you're,
say Lasha and Trevor will be back on this live at 7.
oh, okay. But you're going to leave it up so we can watch it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Trevor and
What do you think of that, T
Lasha.
Bird? I want to talk about this for real. I want to know what your thoughts are about Trump. Who benefits from Charlie Kirk passing away? Why is the investigation going so slow? What is it about this assassination that affected people in such a visceral way where it didn't, like even Donald Trump's investigation? And who's in charge of the mainstream media? Donald Trump! Who's there? Hi! Hi, Oh, it's me. I'll be back in a minute. That is too funny.
What is?
Just everything. No way. No way. No way. Hey, Trev.
Hi. All right.
Okay,
So
so
should I
all
keep
right,
the
just
live chat showing or turn
oh,
this down
I would
so we can have it in full screen?
one sec.
All
I'm
right.
reading something.
Hi, chat over.
Aw, I knew it.
Hmm. What?
I'll tell you in a minute.
She's not even on yet. All right,
Save
Candace is starting.
$28 or more when you join Planet Fitness for $1 down, $15 a month.
Welcome to Turo. What can I get you?
Yeah, hey, I've got a camping trip this weekend. Can I
Is
get
this
a gray
Candace?
Bronco with all-wheel drive
Yes.
and a sunroof,
Oh,
please?
cool. Okay. Okay, I'll be back in
All right.
1 minute.
Wait, aren't we leaving the stream?
No,
I'm
no,
leaving the
don't. Just
stream.
you can leave for 5 minutes, Trevor. I'm coming back as soon as she starts, and then let's watch.
No,
I'll be right
I'm
back.
going outside now. Like
Okay, well
I'm
you
leaving the
go.
stream.
Well, Trevor, hang on. You can leave it like you don't have to sit there and watch it if you
Yeah,
don't
I'm
want
gonna
to.
leave and come back. I'm
Oh,
gonna
okay.
watch through the live chat on my phone, and now
Oh, you're watching it on your phone. Okay, all right. So okay, everybody, we are watching Candace through Trevor's computer that he bought
but I'm gonna be leaving. I'm gonna be leaving this stream, but I'll be still be able to type in the chat and
on
moderate.
the
But I'm just
phone.
going. I'm going outside. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right,
All
I'll
right.
see you in a bit, Trev.
Bye.
Bye. Where did Candace go? I don't understand. He closed the computer. Oh, Trevor.
Sorry about that. Well, that food
Where's Candace?
right here. I thought that would work. Not.
No, you can't close the computer. Is your computer open?
I didn't close it. I just left the tab.
That's weird. Well, she's usually a little late, but you can leave it and come back just like that. There you go.
All right, you guys, let's get started. Happy Monday. You are not going to believe it. You're not going to believe it. You probably will believe it at this point because all of it's so unbelievable that we now believe it. Well, last week, we obviously brought you a pretty explosive episode wherein we discussed Liberty University. Because when did Charlie's organization make a sudden switch? suddenly everybody's discussing
Or I could just
faith
do this.
as opposed to his initial goals focused on the free markets and capitalism. When did Charlie's organization turn into a church? Well, the answer, as we went backward, said it began with him creating the Falkirk Center. And now I am going to reveal to you what exactly happened with the Falkirk Center. Obviously, scandal. Scandal which I now believe could have led to the fall of both men, actually, Jerry Falwell Jr. and Charlie Kirk. Plus, later on in the show, Megyn Kelly is saying no to the Israel lobby bullying. She gave a powerful statement to Tucker Carlson, who has just been declared an enemy of the state of Israel alongside little old me. I'm not kidding. Welcome back to Candace. Where should we begin, you guys? Let's just say that there have been a lot of misguided PR operations since Charlie Kirk's assassination. And I think that that is putting it mildly, right? A lot of PR blunders, so to speak. Let's see, there was a Operation He Wasn't Catholic Curious, followed by Operation Candace Hasn't Spoken to Charlie in Years, followed by Operation LOL Egyptian Planes, followed by Operation Debunk Mitch in Fort Huachuca with baby mama drama, Huachuca mama drama. That was a lot. And I guess what I really mean when I use the word misguided is that whoever is in control of these operations has a bit of a lead foot. You know what I mean? Too much gas on the pedal at all times. The immediate force that's being applied to these psychological operations, they go from 0 to 100, has sort of made the panic behind them pretty obvious to us, the public. It feels like
Hi,
there's someone who
everybody.
has a
It's
lot of money to
Lasha.
spend, but
I am
maybe that
here.
person who is in control of spending the money happens to be an idiot. Like he's just phoning people up, like, I'll give you $600,000 and have that money transferred in your account with Bitcoin today. If you just say these words, Candace has gone crazy. Charlie wasn't Catholic. Mitch is baby mama's.
What just happened? Why'd you stop?
He's a crazy man. Crazy. Everybody's crazy.
Oh,
Retrospect.
there.
The weirdest operation of all, which still persists today in little pockets of the internet, was Operation LOL Candace Has Dreams. Why did she talk about her dreams? How dare she discuss her dreams? Only weird people have dreams and then tell others about them. Ugh, dreams are ridiculous. They shouldn't be listened to. So the question becomes, who exactly is making these terrible PR decisions? Like, who thinks, yeah, what we need to do today is we have to attack the dream. Just go at it and do not let up on the dream. I think I know the answer. I think it's someone who feels personally victimized by the dream. Show of hands, who feels personally victimized by Candace Owens' dreams? And to be honest, it's sort of
Nobody.
hilarious that I didn't put two and two together sooner than today. So let's go backward, okay? In the immediate 3 weeks following Charlie's assassination, I was obviously in a haze. I'll be honest, I think I told you this before, but I was not sleeping, I was not eating, and I was having incredibly vivid dreams. I began dreaming like I hadn't dreamed since I was a child because it was every night. And to be
I
honest,
haven't
it was
dreamt
overwhelming. I didn't like it. I felt like Charlie
the
was
way I've
haunting me.
dreamt.
It
There's no
stressed me
such
out.
word as
I
dreamed,
expressed
is
that to my
there? I'm not
husband
sure.
through many tears. He told me that I should consult a priest, which I did. And we spoke about souls in purgatory. Anyway, today I feel that it is time to tell you the entirety of the repeat dream that I was having in those early weeks. It was actually a replay of an actual lunch that Charlie and I did have in the past. Back in 2018, Charlie and I went to Israel together. And in the dream, we were sitting in the exact same restaurant on a patio, and Charlie began the conversation saying something that he actually said, a real memory from that trip. Charlie was sitting on the patio and he was eating hummus. And he's like, "This is the best hummus I've ever tasted in my life." A dramatic oversell. I always feel there are certain places that people hype so much that when you go there, you feel like you have to pretend it's the best thing you've ever experienced. Otherwise, you sort of let yourself down. It's like, this is the best ever. And truly, I didn't love Israel. I didn't love it. even when I was a Zionist, because it felt dangerous. You could sense the Muslims hated the Jews. It felt like we were on a tour. People were sneering at us. I just didn't love Israel. I've expressed that many times in the past, but Charlie was getting into the character. It was the greatest thing he had ever eaten. Anyways, the setting of this particular dream, however, had one dramatic difference. We were not there for the opening of the embassy. And this difference, by the way, I don't really understand yet. I'm just sharing it with you. Instead, we were there in this dream setting for Bibi Netanyahu's wife's funeral. Again, that makes entirely no sense. I've never met his wife. I've never spoken about his wife. I know nothing about his wife. So that's just the context of it. I don't make the rules of Dream World. And obviously, as we were sitting there, it didn't strike me as weird because when you're in your dream state, everything that happens for some reason feels like, oh yeah, this is totally normal. Anyway, Charlie said to me, I don't have much time. He followed that up explaining to me that I needed to see what happened on his left. And he told me explicitly, they betrayed me, multiple people. And I said, I know, but who? Then came the frustrating part of the dream. Every time I would say who, you know when you're in a dream and you go who, or you try to speak in the dream, and then suddenly you're actually speaking in real life and you start to wake yourself up from the dream by accident. That's what kept happening. And whenever I would try to listen to what he was saying, it sounded like he was underwater. So I was frustrated by this. I can't get to the part where you tell me who betrayed you. It wasn't until the third week after his death that finally one face came through in this dream. It came through as clear as day from around the corner of the restaurant. And it was Andrew Colvet's. Now you have to imagine in the immediate aftermath of this, I was not thinking Turning Point USA. Where we're at today is almost like unimaginable going back there. In fact, I was very friendly with Andrew Colvet. We had spoken extensively in the aftermath of Charlie's death. I've known him for years, and I felt really weird about having seen him in this dream, but it was so vivid and it was so compelling that I felt that as weird and as odd as it was, that I had to text him and tell him what I saw. And this is the text, just sharing with you so you guys know if this all really happened. I said I rarely have vivid dreams, but I had one clear as day this weekend. Charlie came to me and he sat down and he told me that he did not have much time, that I needed to know that he was in fact betrayed and that they are hiding what happened to my left. I believe his soul is in purgatory, and I believe that you know much more than you've said publicly or privately. And Andrew Colvet never answered. Last time Andrew Colvet and I spoke. Now, of course, fast forward today, and we learn that it's been Andrew Colvet orchestrating all of these attacks, actually. Got caught red-handed. It's sort of ridiculous that I didn't just assume that earlier. But like I said, that's not where my brain went in the aftermath of Charlie's assassination. I thought, these are good guys who loved Charlie Kirk. But the question I'm now arriving at is why? Why, if it was just a dream, why does it require so much effort on the...
Some cookies sweeten your holidays, while the wrong ones slow down your Mac. Clean My Mac is your digital cookie cutter. The cookies are cleared and the deadlines are met. Pass that pre-holiday rush with Clean My Mac.
Right now, when you walk into a Burlington, you're walking into deals on top of deals during our winter clearance event. That's main character energy. Find tons of markdowns, up to 70% off other retailers' prices on clearance items. Because at Burlington, the deals aren't the only thing turning heads. Seriously, why go anywhere else? Burlington's winter clearance event.
Burlington deals, brands, wow.
London. And I said, no, why? What a ridiculous thing to ask me. And he said, well, because we just noticed that when some people attack you, really bad things happen to them. And then he proceeded to tell me, which I did not know, quite horrifically, that Dennis Prager, who had just written this open article about me, and it was not done in a very nice way, had actually fallen, and he was very seriously injured. There was nothing funny about that. And that he was, having to speak out and type out of his mouth. And then he kind of went backwards and was like, the Daily Wire thing and the Jordan Peterson thing, and like bad things are happening to people after they attack you. So then I realized he was being serious. He was like asking that question seriously. And I remarked to him, no, but I have really bad rebounds, not just from other people, but to me as well. I've explained this to you guys that if I do something bad, I immediately, the karma of it, I would experience. Like if I stole your phone today, it was just sitting on a counter and I stole it from a restaurant, I'd go back home and my house would be burned to the ground. That's my kind of very swift karma hits me fast. Anyways, the point is that despite this bizarre question that he asked me about witchcraft, it's him that's the one that's orchestrating all of these attacks. And they have been backfiring on Turning Point USA. And I now understand why exactly it is that he's been leading these attacks. And Liberty University was actually the key. We spoke about the Moonies cult, right? That's what we spoke about on Thursday. I told you guys all about this Korean man, Sun Young Moon, who was actually working for the CIA, Assad, while leading effectively what became a religious cult. They were buying up land, buildings, entire blocks, all these different companies, while convincing the masses that it was actually for the Father. Moon had minted himself as a messiah. And then he got involved with Liberty University via Jerry Falwell Sr. And my conclusion of that episode was that the true aim of Turning Point USA Faith was to transform Charlie Kirk into a messiah of sorts, whose image that they could control in his death. And obviously an image that the public couldn't question because of how horrifically sad it was. We all watched him be assassinated. In fact, that might be the answer to the question, why did they want us to watch it? You wanted to kill Charlie Kirk, but why did you want the entire world to watch it and feel emotionally moved, as we have been by this assassination? For good measure, I should now tell you that the Moonies cult was riddled with claims of sexual rituals, physical and psychological abuse, and of course, as we've covered already, financial corruption. So much financial corruption that it actually led to a political assassination in Japan. Remember 2022? Let's go back to 2022 in Japan, because and I'll tell you the reason behind this assassination, according to the person who committed it. Do you guys know how Turning Point USA has evolved from a charity asking for a check or asking for a one-time credit card donation to now asking for people to pledge their 401ks, their property, basically a means for the elderly. They've established to include Turning Point USA in their wills. And doesn't that just feel a little bit icky?
It's a cult.
Doesn't that just open the door for old people, the elderly, going senile and then maybe accidentally signing away their lives before they die, their estates? Turning Point wants to be included in your grandma's estate planning. I don't like that vibe.
It's a cult.
Well, that is precisely the reason that the Moonies cult ended up leading to the assassination of the Prime Minister of Japan. The Prime Minister, do you remember him? Shinzo Abe, the longtime Prime Minister of Japan. He was shot and he was killed because a 41-year-old man blamed the Prime Minister, whose family did in fact have long-running ties to the Moonies Church, the Unification Church, as it's called, and whose cabinet was factually closely associated with the Unification Church. He blamed him for promoting that church, which eventually bankrupted his family. This is per the New York Times. They wrote, quote, in an internal audit, the governing Liberal Democratic Party found that some 180 of its elected lawmakers, or almost half of its entire membership in Japan's parliament, either accepted donations or attended events held by the church and related organizations. That is ringing a bell here. Anyways, back to Abe. Abe's assassination was conducted by a man that was destitute and he was broke because of the Unification Church. They had brainwashed his mother in her old age, brainwashed her into giving the church all of his family's money, and she left her sons, his family, so destitute that he and his siblings often didn't even have enough money to eat, and they became so despondent that his brother committed suicide and he himself had attempted suicide. Again, I'm just telling you what happened factually, obviously not a justification for him to have assassinated the prime minister. But the story here is compelling, and if I'm being honest, that is exactly the strand of ick that I got as I was watching AmFest and this tent and like the microphone and like put into a case and set. It's like the ghost of Charlie. That's exactly the strand of ick that I got. Like everyone was on stage speaking about the Lord, but no one was actually meaning the Lord. It was instead watching a
I already said
charismatic
this tonight.
cult, people who were trained in tactics of manipulation, preying on weak minds of their followers and people who actually love Charlie Kirk. And of course, that explains the Hollywood tint to it all as well. Anyways, you're probably wondering, what does this have to do with Liberty University? Well, funny story. I was contacted by people who are still at Liberty University, still working in Liberty University's office, and they told me that I had a couple of things wrong.
Shit, I don't know.
And I will
Can
say
you
allegedly
guys
here.
hear me?
Allegedly. They told me that Jerry Falwell Jr. was
Jerry
also taken down.
Fartwell.
Unfairly taken down is what they said. Essentially,
People
the entire
hide
pool boy scandal, that
behind
was the sex
Christianity.
scandal that took out Jerry
They're all
Falwell.
nuts.
And the circumstance which Jerry Falwell eventually
She's
spoke out
not
about actually
nuts.
himself, confirming this person inside of events, was that his wife was indeed having an affair with the pool boy. And that affair was then used to generate a ton of articles and then used to force his ouster
Jerry
out of the church.
Bartwell's
And this person
son
claimed it was corrupt
sued
pastors,
Larry
pastors that
Flint.
wanted him out and wanted
I
to put an end
shit
to the
you
Falkirk
not.
Center. Okay, so to back this up, Charlie Kirk and Jerry Falwell came together and established
Jerry
what was the
Fartwell and
precursor to
Charlie
Catholic faith.
Kirk.
I was around for that. The aim was to harness
This
the
gets
energy
better
of
and
Charlie's
better
brand
and better and better.
with the youth and to turn that into ministry for evangelicals and to inspire young people to go to Liberty University, to sign up and to go to Liberty University, because Jerry Falwell Jr. had turned it into a very profitable school, and he had separated it from the church, wanting the finances not to be mingled with the church, which was something that his father had not done. There was no separation between the church and the school when Jerry Falwell Sr. was alive. Well, apparently the pastors who made a fortune while Jerry Falwell Sr. was alive did not like that. They did not like the separation of the church and the school. They wanted to profit from the school's earnings as they had done in the past. Again, I'm going to say allegedly. But this person inside, they've got access. So when Charlie Kirk came around and wanted to expand things in a way that would not directly benefit the church, they weren't so keen on that idea. Now, this person that I spoke to is my favorite kind of source because she disagrees with me passionately on the topic of Israel. She said, I have to speak up irrespective of that because what they did to Charlie is wrong, and they're lying about what happened. And I know that something is not right with these pastors because I know these men. So yeah, they established Jerry Falwell, Charlie Kirk, the Falkirk Center in 2021. And I want you guys to remember that, interestingly enough, when Charlie Kirk was meeting at Liberty University about establishing that Falkirk Center, a certain Johnny Moore inserted himself into the meeting, the planning sesh, so to speak. He just pulled up a chair. Now, you remember I told you about this Johnny Moore character. At this time, in 2021, when he was back on their campus, there was no reason for Johnny to actually be there, even though he kind of grew up on the campus. He did. Johnny had been at that campus since he was 14 years old. We'll get into that. But he had quit his job as the lead pastor of Liberty University back in 2014. And yet here he was, coming up with a reason to be there, snooping into Charlie and the Falkirk Center. And you should know that when Johnny left Liberty University in 2014, he went to Hollywood to start the PR company, the Kairos Company. Andrew Colvett, he was a part of the Kairos Company. You'll recall that. He's Johnny Moore's partner, protege, I don't know what you want to call it. But when that Kairos Company got established, Andrew Colvett was the executive vice president, and he effectively was working for the Kairos Company, Andrew Colvett, and then got hired to be the PR guy for Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA. Another interesting point that the source told me is that Johnny Moore, despite going to Hollywood in 2015 to work with, and I should mention here, Mark Burnett, it's who he went to go work for. Mark Burnett is a very big name in reality TV world. If you're in your head like I did immediately when I thought about that, I was like, wait, wasn't Erica on a show randomly? What's the show called, Summer House, in 2019? Interestingly enough, when Mark Burnett took over MGM, became the chairperson of MGM, they did acquire, he owned Summer House. So that's interesting. So there could be a connection there. There could not be one, but I'd be interested to know who her PR person was there. And I will ask how she got on the show. Anyways, back to Andrew Kovac, back to Johnny Moore. Johnny Moore immediately and consistently, despite establishing the Kairos Company, wanted his job back at Liberty University. He wanted to be still a part of Liberty University. And the question is why? Why was the Kairos Company so interested in keeping a leg inside of growing evangelical organizations? Do you remember back when the ADL put me on their list before I got fired, before the whole Christ is King debacle? That's what they put me on the list for. And then a year later, Dr. Jordan Peterson, and a certain Reverend Johnny Moore created a report and doubled down explaining that Christ is King is in fact actually anti-Semitic. And they created this whole video graphic to show that I was
So
a radical for
stupid.
saying Christ is King. Yeah, that's that's
Gary
Johnny Moore
Fartwell
and his beliefs pretty much in a nutshell.
sued
Like he just does
Larry
disastrous
Flint,
PR to defend the
and
state of Israel.
Jerry
But boy,
Farwell,
is it earning him
who
some money.
Larry
He
Flint
serves
called
on the
Jerry
ADL task force.
Fartwell,
He received the
watched
Medal
the
of Valor
movie
from
The
the Simon
People
Wiesenthal
versus
Center. These are
Larry
the
Flint,
organizations, by the
and it
way.
was Larry
They were born of
Flint,
Zionist
the
gangs, literal
pervert
gangs, just to be
that
clear. And they are the very
took
organizations behind the initial attacks on me
his
that have from the beginning been
magazine
meant to pull
to the
me and
Supreme
Charlie
Court
apart by
for
drumming
free
up weird
speech.
anti-Semitism
So you can
scandals
thank the
and then having
pervert for
donors
that.
demand action.
And
Anyway, I
Jerry
want you to hear
Fartwell
Reverend
did
Johnny
everything to
Moore
try to
in his own
destroy
words so you can
Larry
catch
Flint,
his
which I find
drift, catch his
interesting.
vibe, if you
I
will.
don't
Take a
know
listen.
where she's going with
So now,
this.
I'm involved in the ADL in all kinds of ways. I'm a part of the ADL and Aspen Institute Civil Society Fellowship. I'm on the advisory board for the Aspen Institute and ADL Civil Society Fellowship. It has shown me where we have to keep our we have to keep our eyes on certain trends and certain ideas, and when people say things, what they actually mean. It's been not only an amazing educational experience, a practical way for me to get into this fight against hate for good, but it has also afforded me the opportunity to learn so much along the way and to meet so many different people. And I can tell you again, I'm not Jewish. I'm Christian, and yet I've just always felt at home, in the ADL community.
Now let's hear him, but let's put him in a yarmulke. Take a listen.
I know the state of Israel is strong. It's as strong as it's ever been. The truth is, you don't need us. But what I want you to know is that, need us or not, we are committed to building a great wall of Christian Zionism all over the world to push back the forces of anti-Semitism. But that also includes educating well-meaning Christians on our own history of Christian anti-Semitism.
So who is that guy? Who is Johnny Moore? Where did he come from? The answer is actually quite compelling. He was a kid that grew up in the Lynchburg, Virginia area. And I'm just going to actually read this first sentence from Christianity Today. It says, Johnny Moore was only 14 when he first stayed in the dorms at Liberty University. And since then, he's pretty much remained at the school that Jerry Falwell Sr. founded 41 years ago in Lynchburg, Virginia. Moore and his single mom family briefly lived in the dorms after his parents' divorce and a temporary stretch of homelessness. Okay. Now, somebody that went to school with him verified exactly that. They said he was a kid who grew up outside of Lynchburg. In high school, he was very poor. Very poor. They stressed this. Not a problem, obviously. I was poor too. But they also mentioned that Johnny had some severe daddy issues. I am told directly by someone who went to school with him that he made a name for himself in a long way. He got caught with some porn magazines and was pretty badly made fun of. Okay, kids make mistakes growing up. But it gets more interesting when you learn that suddenly little Johnny fell into a lot of money. He had a male mentor who bought him and everyone in his family, allegedly, brand new cars. So Johnny was po no mo. And this daddy mentor of his is the one that pushed for Jerry Falwell Sr. to give Johnny a position with Liberty University. That man's name is Ron Godwin. It's Johnny's mentor, Ron Godwin, the protege of Sun Myung Moon, the Moonies cult. Sun Myung Moon, who led this Moonies cult, picked Ron Godwin, not only just to run the Washington Times for him, which I told you they purchased the Washington Times, but Moon also declared Ron Godwin to be one of his 3 disciples, declaring, and I quote, "You will be like the 3 disciples of Jesus. Each one of you will put yourself in Jesus's position and multiply 3 disciples of your own." So Sung Young Moon says, I am like Jesus. I feel like I'm blaspheming just saying that. And he picks this Ron Godwin guy, and he says to Ron Godwin, and you will pick 3 disciples of your own. And yeah, we can confirm that looks like one of Godwin's 3 disciples, so to speak, was Johnny Moore, who minted the Kairos company with none other than Andrew Colvett of Turning Point USA. Looks like this. If we look at that in an organization chart, yep, he's a declared disciple, and I guess I should have put technically Johnny beneath him. And Andrew, I'm wondering if Andrew is Johnny Moore's disciple, or I don't know, one of Ron Godwin's 3 disciples. We're not sure. But we can tell you that when Ron Godwin retired from Liberty University in October of 2014, of course, his Johnny boy left too, right? Johnny was his protege. And Johnny, that's when Johnny went to Hollywood. But then all of a sudden he wanted back in at Liberty University, and he was told no repeatedly. And without Daddy Godwin to push through his paperwork this time, there really was no pathway for him to end up back at Liberty until lo and behold, in 2021, as his executive vice president, Mr. Andrew Colvett, is now managing Charlie Kirk, the most unbelievable thing happens. Jerry Falwell gets ousted from Liberty University. Jerry Prevost is named as his successor. And the very first thing that Jerry Prevost does is he fires Charlie Kirk, and he also moves rather immediately to reinstate none other than the sometimes lurking Johnny Moore, paying him, I am told, an absurd amount monthly retainer. And I'll say allegedly here, even though my source comes directly from inside Liberty University, so I feel pretty confident that the information I received is accurate, that they just ousted and they said, Johnny's now back and influential and making money here. So what's the point here? Take me very seriously when I say that Turning Point Faith is problematic. The organization is intended to be the Moonies 2.0. The intention behind the Moonies cult, by the way, in case it's not clear to you, was one world government, achieved through the concept of a unification church. We are all being brought in by the, I guess you could say, their version of the Lord, which is just, I don't know, some CIA clone, somebody that you can get behind. They are repeatedly establishing a messianic figure, and they're expecting people to follow them because how dare you question the Bible? It's all really sick when you think about it. And yeah, Andrew Colvett, I think my dream might have meant something. And that's why you've been completely freaked since. Anyways, we'll be right back after taking a brief break. All right, you guys, new research is revealing something heartbreaking. More than 7 million American women suffer severe, long-lasting emotional distress after an abortion. Grief, flashbacks, and a quiet regret that often never goes away. Preborn sees this pain firsthand in the thousands of clinics that they support, but there is hope, and it begins with something powerful. Because when a woman sees her baby on an ultrasound, everything changes. Her baby's chance at life doubles, and for just $28, you can sponsor that ultrasound, bringing a lifetime of blessings. This is what real healthcare looks like. Preborn stands on the front lines, providing free ultrasounds, compassionate counseling, and gospel-centered support to young mothers that are in crisis. They are saving babies, they are healing hearts, and they are making motherhood possible. If you believe, as I do, that every child matters and that no woman should walk this road alone, then join me today. Sponsor an ultrasound, and if you'd like to do that, you can just donate by dialing pound 250 and say the keyword baby. Or you can visit preborn.com/Candace. Again, that's preborn.com/Candace. Also, want to tell you guys about Riverbend Ranch, because if you have been following me for a while, then you know how much I love Riverbend Ranch steaks. If you haven't tried them yet, now is the perfect time to do so, because not only are they delicious, but beef has just been placed on the top of the food pyramid by the USDA. Beef is a complete protein, and it contains all 9 essential amino acids that your body needs to function. It also keeps you fuller for longer, reducing cravings and snacking. It is one of the most nutrient-dense foods out there, packed with protein, iron, zinc, and B vitamins that help support energy, strength, and overall health. So if you're looking to make smarter choices for your health this year, Riverbend Ranch is the perfect place to start. For the last 35 years, Riverbend Ranch has been creating an elite Angus herd by using ultrasound to select genetically superior cattle with a focus on flavor and tenderness. They only use the top 1 or 2% of the entire Angus population as their breeding stock, producing beef that has much more flavor and tenderness than your average Angus beef. All Riverbend Ranch cattle are born and raised in the USA. They never use growth hormones or antibiotics, and you can taste the difference. Head to riverbendranch.com today and use the promo code Candace at checkout, and you'll get $20 off your first order. Again, that is riverbendranch.com, promo code Candace. Something else I would like to add here regarding the Moonies cult and this Korean guy that pops onto the scene after the Korean War. That, to me, feels like it was orchestrated by the CIA. And I can tell you that one of the patterns that I have recognized when I look into these obviously bought and paid for propagandists is that it seems that their grandfathers are all involved in the Korean War. They were all captains or lieutenant colonels in the Korean War. And I keep telling you that it's really important to recognize this strand of military corruption. I think that's the reason that the Moonies cult was established in Korea during that time, and that it is very likely that the entire thing was just a CIA operation, and they are attempting that again via Turning Point Faith, and that's the reason Turning Point USA Faith wants to get into real estate. It feels like they're buying up so much land, and now we're having these fires that are happening all around the world, these natural disasters, and they're trying to tell you that these disasters are natural, when it's becoming pretty apparent they're not. It feels like these are land grabs, and you should be allowed to think through that with what I am telling you. Anyways, avoid the faith grift in 2026. Something that is happening at the same time, obviously, is that all of these people seem to be radically obsessed with Israel. It's another component of this. It's just you can't let Israel go. It's almost as if the Mossad and the CIA, there is no separation between the two. It's why Bibi used to work for the CIA. If you've followed past episodes that we've done, I think we uncovered that during our Epstein series, but don't quote me on that. It feels like that is the strand that explains everything.
You talk to them, you name them, you bring them inside to keep them warm. But real plant parents know you gotta feed them too, with Miracle Grow. Because what you grow grows you.
Actually underestimated. He underestimated how much of it, he was like the magician who believed in his own magic. He underestimated how much of it was successful in convincing all of us to be Zionists because we were operating under the illusion that they were innocent. And he went too far. He killed too many people. Gaza woke up a lot of people. And now they're pretending that the issue is not what they're doing. It's never what they're actually doing. It's not that they're being accused by their own people of conducting and covering up these sex rituals against children in their forests. It's not because of the fact that tens of thousands of innocent Palestinians have been killed and that they've been intentionally targeted because they're conducting a genocide. The problem is that we're noticing it. And the enemy, therefore, is speech. It's people on a platform speaking about their crimes that are problematic, not the crimes that they are committed. Again, this is the logic of psychopaths. Well, in the Knesset, it's like their Congress, there was a Likud party representative who got up and gave a speech and declared me and Tucker Carlson to be enemies of the state of Israel. Me and Tucker Carlson, who are calling for peace, we are calling for national sovereignty, we are calling for people in Congress to actually serve American interests, and that apparently represents an existential threat to Israel. Here is what he had to say.
Mr. Speaker, members of the Knesset, I stand here in Jerusalem, the eternal capital of the Jewish people, to sound an alarm. We are used to enemies from outside. We fight terror tunnels of Hamas. We fight the ballistic missiles of Iran. But today, I look at the West, our greatest ally, and I see a new enemy rising from within. I am speaking of a poison being sold to the American people as patriotism. I'm speaking of the intellectual vandalism of Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Mr. Speaker, let us be clear about what this is. They claim to fight the woke left. They are no different than the woke left. The radical left tears down the statues of Thomas Jefferson. Tucker Carlson tears down the legacy of Winston Churchill. The radical left says Western civilization is evil. Candace Owens says the roots of our faith are demonic. It is the same sickness. It is the same moral relativism. It is the same hatred of the West dressed up in a different costume.
Yes, to be clear, that is dangerous. The Likud party, and I was quite literally, somebody was plotting my murder. Actually, a year from the date that Charlie was murdered on September 10th, someone was plotting my murder and got discovered, and that's still making its way through the courts. These people are calling for violence. That's the implicit threat here. They're all growing increasingly more radical, and they're feeling threatened by speech, which is why I implore all of you, which I see that you are, which is why they feel threatened, to continue to use it and to recognize these people are incredibly dangerous. They are very dangerous. When a person is unwilling to say, here is what I did wrong, especially when that person has murdered tens of thousands of children, what they're doing down in Venezuela, Argentina, when they say the issue is people recognizing what they're doing. Argentina, they are tweeting. I mean, they are in the streets shouting against Zionist in America is what's actually radical, not people who are actually harming children and abusing children sexually. We don't even have a government, in my view. Like, we can't even protect the nation's most innocent. How do we even have a government? I guess that's a larger philosophical question. I do now want to cut to the sad fact that it seems that women in the media have been braver than most men in the media, who seem to just be bending the knee and taking it and calling themselves heroes or tough guys, but not willing to stand up for speech. At the very least, stand up for speech in America. Megyn Kelly sat down and discussed. She's been at length under attacks. They are adding her to their list. It's very obvious because she simply won't bend the knee. She has said nothing wrong. She actually is a Zionist and she supports Israel. But for them, they learn that you must fully allow us to control your speech or we'll attack you. You know, we will assassinate your character, essentially. Assassinating the character comes first. Well, here's what Megyn Kelly opened up to Tucker Carlson about on his show, and here's what she had to say.
I've gotten notes from all of these people, dear friends of mine over the past 2 years. Thank you so much. You make me and my family feel safer. These are pro-Israel Jewish friends of mine in the media. You make me and my family feel safer. I love you. My family loves you. God bless you. These same people have now turned on me, and some are calling me an anti-Semite. Why? What did I say? What did I do? Did I step on a rake and say something super anti-Semitic without realizing it? No, it's because I won't defriend you, and I won't condemn and say that Candace Owens is hateful. They want me really, really badly to condemn Candace Owens. And I'm sorry to break it to them, but I am responsible for what I say, not for what anybody else says. I am not Candace Owens's policeman. And by the way, they're kidding themselves that if just one more voice will say something nasty about Candace, she could finally be controlled. Like, how well has that worked so far? But again, the instinct is to stop her speech, stop it, make her stop it. Make Tucker stop saying the things. Well, I have no desire to, and I have no power to. And for that, I was called a coward by Ben Shapiro at the Turning Point event, AmFest, in December, who, by the way, in my last exchange with him, literally said, our friendship, his and mine, is too important to both of us to make it depend on whom else we are friends with and aren't friends with. That is literally the last text I have from Ben Shapiro. The next thing I knew, he was standing on the stage at Turning Point calling me a coward for this very thing.
Listening to that is just so real, and it always starts with something like that, just controlling speech. Like, I have been no fan of Nick Fuentes, but I remember the peer pressure campaign that came from the pro-Israel lobby to compel me to say something about him. Why? Just like she is saying, I'm not his mom. So this was way back when I didn't even know anything about his content, nothing. I knew who he was, but I wasn't watching Nick Fuentes' show. He was kicked off of every platform. And they were just demanding that of me. I remember the text messages from Seth Dillon trying to compel me to say something about Nick Fuentes. And the emotional manipulation of it all. I'm going, why do I have to say something about Nick Fuentes? There's like tons of articles about Nick Fuentes. He's been kicked out of all these events. Why do you need me to personally do it? That's what it's about. It's about making sure that they can control your platform. And I'm sorry, they behave like a gang, as I have expressed many times. That was my experience. You behave like a gang, trying to basically say you're not allowed to have a mic and speak unless you're willing to bend the knee to us. And it's, frankly speaking, wrong. And what I think is more wrong than even that is that so many men have microphones and don't come out and condemn it explicitly, vociferously, name names. Like, you should just like obviously recognize, and not even condemning the fact that they're bullying these people, but recognizing rather the threat to our speech. That's real. You purport to say that you care about American values, okay? People want to get laws passed. People are bullying people, trying to compel them to speech. People are making threats to people's livelihoods. And in some cases, as I believe the case with Charlie Kirk, some people are killed, are actually murdered because they can't get controlled. So if you're going to purport to be a person that cares about American values and purport to care about the fight and recognizing what we are up against, you might want to recognize that Israel is starting to squeeze Americans. And by the way, beyond anybody else, forget the men that have microphones, I actually want to say that our government allowing another government, another party that I'm compelled to give my tax dollars to, I'm compelled to actually give my tax dollars to Israel. Allowing them to stand up and declare me an enemy of the state, I have to pay for that? Where's J.D. Vance on this? Where's Trump on this? Where are all of the Congress members on this? I don't know. Am I wrong for thinking that should be unacceptable, the way that they speak about us while we have to fund their military exercises all around the world, their military aims all around the world? I mean, it actually drives me totally insane that I have to pay these people my taxes. I have to go to work. We all have to go to work to support the nation that is demanding that our speech gets suppressed. And we are the last stand, so use your speech while we still have it. All right, top comment from last episode is, I think it's safe to say it is never a good thing when our military is going to other countries to help children. Yes, we talked about that. I created that column. Obviously, I was using Excel sheet in all the wrong ways, but created a clear column to speak about how many times sex trafficking has come up in the story, the history of our military, and I have received since then even more explosive information. And so we're going to get into that later this week. You are absolutely correct. I do not believe that our military is helping children around the world. I do not think that is their explicit aim. In fact, I think it's much darker than that. I think we all sense that. We will take a brief break before I read the rest of your comments. All right, you guys, you do not have to overhaul your entire life in 2026. You can start with simple swaps like upgrading the snacks that are in your pantry to ones with real ingredients like masa. It's the easiest way to eat clean without feeling like you are on a diet. Masa's chips contain just 3 ingredients: organic corn, sea salt, and 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That's it. There are no seed oils, no mystery chemicals, just real food. These chips don't only avoid all the bad stuff, but they taste incredible as well. Snacking on Masa chips is nothing like eating regular chips. With Masa, you feel satisfied, light, and energetic. There's no crash, bloat, or gross, sluggish feeling afterward. And because these chips are made with real food, they are more satiating so that you won't find yourself uncontrollably binging and still feeling hungry thereafter. My favorite flavors of masa chips are their habanero and their original. So if you are ready to give masa a try, simply click the link in the video description, or you can visit masachips.com/Candace and be sure to use promo code Candace at checkout to get 25% off your first order. If you don't feel like ordering online, masa is now available nationwide at your local Sprouts supermarket. So stop by and pick up a couple of bags before they're gone. And of course, I always tell you guys about Nimi. I know a lot of people feel overwhelmed when it comes to skincare because they are constantly being told to change the routine, change the products, change what you believe about what works. And eventually that just leads to frustration and inconsistency. When I find something that works and it aligns with how I live my life, I always just try to stick with that. That's exactly why Nimi skincare has stayed a part of my routine. It's clean, simple, and I trust what I'm using. People ask me what I use on my skin, especially this time of year, and the honest answer is that there is nothing complicated about my routine. I use Nimi, I stay consistent, and I try not to overthink it, especially in the winter when your skin is dealing with cold air and dry heat. Consistency matters more than novelty. What I appreciate about Nimi Skincare is that the values behind the brand are steady. It's made here in the USA. It doesn't chase trends, and it stays consistent in how it's built and what it stands for. Even small details like the subtle Bible verse tucked inside each box tell you a lot about the intention behind the brand. If you want to learn more, you can find them at nimiskincare.com. And if you want to use my code, it's Candace10 at checkout for a special discount on your order. That's nimiskincare.com. All right. First, I want to tell you guys we have new merch on the website. If you would like to support my free speech while we still have it, you can buy a hard copy autographed bundle now available on the shop of Make Him a Sandwich and Blackout, both hand signed by me. Also, check out these new mugs. Girls, can you scroll down there? These are Superfly top. You missed it. You passed it. Okay, there we go. No, back up. Oh, yeah, that one, the black one. Quick, fast, go. How cute are those? I don't know. I just feel like they're super cute. I love these mugs. I actually have one upstairs. I forgot to put it on my desk. Bella, can you make a note for me to get the mug tomorrow because I'm going to keep forgetting. I really love the Conspiracy Girly mug. You can get that on the website. And also want to tell you guys, if you are in the book club, Friday just worked. I liked that, especially because we don't do Fridays on the show. So we will be moving the book club to every other Friday instead of Tuesdays, so that way I don't have that double. The next book club will be January 23rd. Okay, get into your comments. Project Constitution is in the chat. That's a huge donation. Thank you. He's one of the bigger accounts that's been discussing everything Charlie Kirk on X. He writes, Erica is the reason Charlie even got involved in the Falkirk Center. And then the spinoff of Turning Point USA Faith, she was brought in as his handler to move him in that direction. She had him starry-eyed and wrapped around her finger. Go, Max. Love you, Candace. Keep shining the light on evil. Look, I am obviously part of the reason I know everyone's like, oh, why weren't you here? I met my husband and it was like happily ever after and skipped into the sunset. And I can say, I can pinpoint that, yes, obviously we know that Erica Kirk was a Falkirk fellow. I have not yet heard that she explicitly said you need to establish the Falkirk Center. And I would have to go back and ask people that. I am starting to work through some of the questions that people have about her background. And I've wanted to be very careful because I don't want to make any mistakes. And I want to understand it. I want to understand a lot of the different things that we're all seeing on X about the charities that she was involved in and the overseas stuff. And, she says she lived in China and she says that she lived in Costa Rica and when and for what. A lot to kind of go through and it's taking a lot of time, but I do intend on doing an episode dedicated to that in the future. But I also want to give her the opportunity to respond to any questions that I have. Natty Nicole writes, Candace, I'm constantly finding myself speechless. Wow, this is insane. I'm heartbroken and filled with rage all at the same time, mostly heartbroken. How does Andrew Colbert sleep at night? We win in the end, but boy, this is hard. Yeah, it is hard. And I feel silly that I didn't realize it was always him, obviously, behind all of these attacks until he got caught red-handed. And then the Johnny Moore thing, like, you should have seen me. My mind was just blown when I figured out after doing this whole episode about the Moonies. And like, why does this feel like the Moonies? And then bam, Johnny Moore, Andrew Colbert. Here's Johnny. The Moonies are back, and it's a different name. That's what's happening here. That is obviously what's happening here. And it goes back to the Korean War. That's the American CIA infiltration. It's been a long Monday, so I'm not even going to get you guys ready for forget whether or not 9/11 was a false flag. Are you ready to talk about Pearl Harbor? Are you ready to talk about Pearl Harbor being a false flag? If not, it's okay, because we're not going to do it today. We're not going to do it, okay? but the vibes are not vibing in the Pearl Harbor story is what I will say. And Lyndon Baines Johnson was a devilish man throughout, and he was a president later, but we should talk about Lyndon Baines Johnson, the efforts that were in the Vietnam War, and what happened in terms of our military involvement overseas and what the actual aims were of the Vietnam War. There is so much that I could unpack for you guys, starting from Pearl Harbor through to Lyndon Baines Johnson and beyond. But yeah, anyways, we'll get there one day. 6-7 writes, thanks, Candace. Great job. That's a donation from Argentina. I am so sick with what you guys are going through. I was so attacked when I said I just didn't trust that dude. Just didn't trust Milei. Saw some stuff about really his full last name is Mileikowski, and he looks a little like Bibi Netanyahu. I mean, that's a conspiracy, but hey, it's Monday. We're talking about dreams. We can talk about conspiracies. And I'm a conspiracy girly, and I have the mug to prove it. Victoria Betts writes, go Max, and always all glory to God. You are correct. The One You Feed writes, what the hell is America's law enforcement? Is everybody bought? A lot of people are bought. In fact, I think our military at the top are actually just mercenary squads to protect the gangs. I'm just going on all the conspiracies that I'm feeling in my vibes, but I'd like to revisit some of these school shootings. I'm wondering if children were being trafficked and administrators found out and they ended up dead. I've got weird vibes about some of these shootings now, because I do think that in part when you look at some of these mass shootings, you find out that there's some government initiative, or I guess the government can benefit by having this particular person dead. How long has that been going on for? I don't know. Obviously not every school shooting, but I have questions. Cami R writes, admire you so much, Candace. I have 2 grown kids, so I appreciate what a warrior you are being, a mama, and bringing us information. God bless you and your family. It's the only way, man. If this really does become one world government, and I do believe that is the explicit aim, our kids just have no chance. So how are we not brave? Do you love your kids enough to be brave? Do you love your offspring enough to be brave? Do you love your family enough to be brave? I do. Charlie did. MakeItKnown.world writes, anybody, and I mean anybody but the current stooges in Congress, both houses that support the Zionists, do not vote for them. It only encourages them. I totally agree. And I'm not voting until we figure out who killed Charlie Kirk and exactly how it happened. So I'm out. You don't have to talk to me about politics at all. Blakely Webb writes, I just got into it with a lady on Facebook because she was saying that you are stupid for having dreams and sharing them. She then proceeded to tell me about her dreams about you. How do people not realize how ironically stupid they are? That's actually really funny. I dreamed a lot. I'm still having vivid dreams. They're not as, they're not every single night like they were in the beginning, which was really stressful for me. I didn't like it. I did not like it. But I encourage you all to dream, and God speaks to us in our dreams. And actually, in fact, that is biblical. So how about that? Anyway, you guys, we will see you tomorrow.